I understand the Finance Committee vote is different than what is in the warrant. So my understanding is the Finance Committee will have two recommendations on this article. Whichever one of you wants to start, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The initial Finance Committee vote was to not recommend acceptance of the CPA by a 4-to-1 margin. However, after further discussion and receipt of additional information, we re-voted the article after the warrant printer deadline and ended up with a 3-3 deadlock. For the FinCom members who voted in favor of the CPA, the compelling arguments of state matching funds and Boxborough's historical CPA eligible spending levels, as covered in Chairman Amoroso's presentation, were deciding factors. For those Finance Committee members who voted not to recommend, let me briefly summarize some of our concerns. First, as stated by Chairman Amoroso, the CPA does fall outside the Proposition 2.5 framework, and it will raise our taxes. Frankly, over the years that I've been serving on the board, we don't typically get a lot of our residents asking us to figure out ways to raise our taxes. Second, we prefer the pay-as-you-go model, whereby prospective CPA-eligible spending is presented and discussed before appropriating taxpayer dollars. This contrasts with the CPA framework of pay in advance, which we believe will allow for projects to be funded even if they do not enjoy wide support. Third, the CPA places permanent restrictions on how we spend monies collected, including a requirement to allocate a minimum 10% per year to each of the three categories. We would prefer to maintain maximum flexibility with our taxpayer dollars for new and/or unforeseen needs, including implementing spending priorities aligned with the updated master plan, which is contemplated in Article 23B. Next slide, Cheryl. So the proposed surcharge will likely raise between $800,000 and $1.6 million from Boxborough taxpayers over the next 5 to 10 years. The proponents assert that we spend, on average, around $250,000 per year in CP-eligible projects. We reviewed the math there, and it was accurate. The selectmen went back and looked at warrants going back to 1998, and that's an accurate number. However, if you exclude several one-time expenditures, including the acquisition of Flag Hill in 1998 and the Hetz property project, which was the Liberty Field playing fields, which happened in 1999 and 2001, the average annual spend drops to only $87,000, not $250,000. So notwithstanding several spending items in this year's warrant that are CPA eligible, we do not believe there exists a steady stream of future projects to meet these taxing levels. And then finally, there are some additional uncertainties to consider. The state match has fluctuated from 28% to 100% over the years. And as we discovered with the Quinn bill, which the state match can be diverted at some point in the future. Another uncertainty is the timing of the prospective 244-unit 40B development, which, if commenced within, say, the next 12 months, will push our affordable housing inventory levels to 14%. So, if you look at back to that $250,000 number, $15,000 of that per year has been allocated to affordable housing. We currently have $380,000 sitting in an account. That's an equivalent of 25 years of CPA spending right there. And if we're able to sell the Stowe land that we acquired 4 years ago, that'll put another $850,000 back into the CPA account. That's 80 years of cash to pay for our prospective CPA, affordable housing spending going forward. So, those were the reasons that 3 of the members voted against the CPA.